Now, how about them damn Celtics?
And we are back with another episode of How About Them Celtics. Sam and I are here recording on Wednesday, February 26th. Celtics beat the Raptors last night. Celtics got the Pistons tonight, which you'll hear about in a few minutes. And we're here to talk about it all. How you doing, Sam?
Doing good. Excited for the game tonight. Should be a really fun one. Pistons have won 7 straight. Celtics have won 6 straight. So nice little streak versus streak on the line at Little Caesars Arena. We'll be talking all about it, like Jack just said. We have a fun show for you. Outside of that, we'll be going through your emails, go around the NBA, look at the standings, talk about Luka's first game against the Mavs, which happened on Tuesday night. Then we'll do the rat list. Be a really fun show for you. Make sure you subscribe, leave a like, comment, tell us what you thought of the game. We're here every single day with new content, so hit the bell. Full pods drop Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. Game recaps up the morning after each game. We're doing live streams too. Pre-game, half hour before every single game. Come hang out. Ton of fun.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I got the itch back for the pre-games with the GeoGuessr and the prize picks. Like, it feels like we have a bunch of activities to do in the pre-games now, which we did before, but it's fun to like have.
Doesn't hurt that
yeah.
last night's GeoGuessr was a banger. Like
Peter,
11 straight. You got Rhode Island.
I'm like itching to do it again.
There is no better feeling than getting Rhode Island on the GeoGuessr. Hits like crack.
Exactly.
We need to just need to get hot on GeoGuessr.
Love me some GeoGuessr. Anyways, we won't waste any more of your time. Let's jump over to Celtics-Pistons right now. All right, we are here after the Celtics lost to the Detroit Pistons. A bad one. All came crashing down after this 6-game win streak. Celtics lose 117-97 to the Pistons, who are now on an 8-game win streak of their own. This type of stuff happens. You go on a win streak, usually ends in some dramatic fashion by and large. And that was what was this game for the Celtics. They couldn't make anything inside the arc. Ironically, they shot, quick math says, 12 of 29 from inside the arc. Not very good.
Very bad.
And they couldn't stop the Pistons. Pistons offense looked great. Celtics defense couldn't hang. Jayson Tatum, high turnover game. Actually, he had 4 turnovers in the first quarter, then didn't turn it over again. So he actually played pretty well, but the assists weren't there for him. The threes went down for the Celtics at a decent clip, but it's just they didn't generate enough offense outside of those, and they just couldn't stop the Pistons, especially Malik Beasley, who was just making everything. So tough night. It is what it is, and a loss for the C's.
Tough loss. There are worse teams that this could have happened against. I think like the Pistons were due to beat the Celtics. They had won, or the Celtics had won, 12 straight going into this game over the Pistons. So it had been a while since the Pistons had beat the Celtics. And listen, this was just like a playoff game for the Pistons right from the get-go. Like they played with a different level of intensity than the Celtics did. Celtics were on a second night of a back-to-back. They really weren't engaged all that much. They were making shots early, but even like the first couple minutes of the game, they couldn't score. It was a lot of one pass, fire up the three. They created some decent looks, but it was still pretty like quick offense, wasn't very patient offense. And you could kind of see the writing on the wall. And then towards the end of the first quarter, the Pistons really put their foot on the gas, turned the Celtics over. Sar Thompson was excellent, had 5 steals in this game, and he was just a motherfucker until he rolled his ankle, which sucks. I mean, the Celtics got hot a couple times in this game and kept it close, but it was evident right from the get-go that this game meant more to the Pistons than it did the Celtics. And you kind of said it, like it just happens. Like you run into a team that, I mean, this is, if you look at this from a Pistons fan perspective, like this, think like 10 years ago when like the Celtics are starting to be competitive again after the rebuild, and you have like a big win over pretty good team. It's exciting. Like the home fans were pumped in Detroit. The young guys were all over this. They were excited. Yeah, like this makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it was a weird game because I don't think the Celtics necessarily played horrendous. It's just the defense wasn't good enough. They couldn't slow down the Cade pick and rolls. They couldn't slow down the transition points. They couldn't, close out Malik Beasley well enough. And then despite the fact that they shot 21 of 49 from 3, their offense wasn't good enough because they couldn't hit their twos. They were missing layups. They weren't generating enough of those shots. The Pistons took 9 more shots than they did. They didn't do a good job controlling those controllables. And they got 14 offensive rebounds in this game too. A lot of loose balls. Celtics turned the ball over 17 times as well. Like, when I say they didn't play that bad, I mean it didn't feel like they were like getting murdered the whole time. It just felt like there were like a couple key areas where they completely let go of the rope, and that just spiraled into a terrible loss. Like I didn't watch this game and think like, okay, everything they're doing is wrong. It just felt like they were either too loose with the ball a few times. Like I think the process was fine on the offensive end for the most part. It just they didn't convert, and then the turnovers, and then the defense. It was a weird game, man. Like I said, it's just, in my opinion, it's just one of those games that is going to happen. Like I don't think there's anything to overreact to from this game. You definitely improve. Obviously, you don't want to turn the ball over 17 times every game. You can't give up 117 every game, and you got to be better in the pick and roll. But like, I don't think this is the type of game that every Celtics fan in the world should be like, oh my God, they're dead again. Like all that for nothing. Like, no, shit happens. It is what it is. They lost to a good team that has been playing really well lately, and you go from there.
Yep. I think this is just a dud. Like it happens. I think the Celtics were not due for a loss like this. I thought they would compete today. I thought they would win going into it, but the way the game started, it was pretty evident what it was going to be. They didn't really have the shot making today to get themselves where they needed to be. They made a lot of threes. Like the 21 for 49 you're going to see in the box score really isn't fair. It was a lot better than that till the end of the game when they really like Al Horford. Once the subs went to the table in the fourth quarter, he said, "Watch this," and just started firing them up. He made one, second one almost dropped, but there was that one possession where the Celtics saw the Stay Ready crew at the table, and they were like, "Watch how hard we're going to try and get these offensive rebounds." They had 3 offensive rebounds on the final possession for the starters, and they just missed a couple threes.
Joe
So
put him in early. I don't think he was happy with this effort at all.
no, he definitely wasn't. Like they were getting punched in the mouth, like literally Peyton Pritchard bleeding, Jordan Walsh bleeding.
No call. No
And
call.
they didn't really do anything about it. They didn't really respond. Like Jayson Tatum had a solid game statistically. He got embarrassed in the third quarter. Like Asar turned him around, and from that point on, it felt like he was just kind of pressing a little too hard. He was taking some pretty questionable shots, tough ones, really trying to get his lick back, and it felt like it took him out of the game. There were so many things that went wrong besides this, but it was just like the one guy that needs to have his head there and be the one to dig you out of the hole, or at least be the one to pull the strings to help everybody else get going, isn't really in that mindset now because he's trying to get his lick back.
Yeah, it was weird. Also, you saying 21 of 49 isn't fair, and that's 43% from three is funny. Like that's just a funny
No, I'm
thing to
saying
say.
they were better. They were better than that.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
saying 43% is not fair is a crazy thing because that's a ridiculous attempt. Yeah, Tatum was weird. He started the game really, really, really good. Like just
Yes.
dominating, scoring. It feels like the Pistons like took away his ability to be a playmaker. Like it feels like they cut those lanes off, they cut the passes off more than the scoring off at times, and it worked really well. I don't know. Celtics shot well from three. Jrue Holiday had a rough box score game. I thought he was not bad. He shot 0-5 and 2 of 10. Like he didn't make shots at the level you want him to, but he had 6 assists. I thought some of those post looks he was going to were holy shit. We can't get anything going on offense. Dear God, let me try something. Which it worked a couple times, and he actually had a lot of nice plays made out of that post from that position. But he wasn't an amazing shooter tonight. You really felt the loss of Luke Cornett and Jaylen Brown in this game in different areas. Like you felt the loss of having another guy who can put the ball in the basket. That's not Jayson Tatum. And that's not to say you guys didn't play well. Like Pritchard was 6 of 10, 5 of 8. Derek White was 6 of 12, 5 of 10. But like Derek White was the secondary creator in this game, and you kind of felt like what it looked like with that. And I'm not saying Derek White's not capable of doing that at times, and he shot pretty efficiently, but like having another guy, like that's what makes the Celtics like what they are and able to pull up. And then Luke Cornett, I mean, shit, man, they got 14 offensive rebounds. Like Luke Cornett's the guy you put in there. And I'm sorry, Nimi was fucking terrible. He was so bad. Like he could not stay in position on defense. Nimi Shiketa in 11 minutes got 1 rebound. Like he was as bad as you could possibly be in this spot. It was not good. Yeah, man, the Celtics just didn't come to play at the level they needed to on either end. It's weird to say that when they shot so efficiently from three, but they turned the ball over a bunch and they couldn't get stops on defense. The Pistons felt like they had a parade to the rim, which is weird considering Kristaps was healthy. So it was a weird game.
Yeah, it's really funny. Usually it goes, the Celtics don't make any threes and throw their hands up and say, "What do you want out of us today?" They made the threes and then still did it. It was just a like look ahead game where they're thinking about the Cavs on Friday. They're like, we're on a, what was it, 6 games in a row going into the game win streak. Their heads weren't in this one. They were on the second night of a back-to-back. Granted, Porzingis, Al, and Drew all didn't play in Toronto yesterday, so you can put as much weight into that as you want. I don't really care for the back-to-back argument, especially considering they did play really well on back-to-backs throughout the season up to this point. You just lost. Like, I mean, we can go through the box score and look at these guys. It was a really tough Drew game on a return. It was looking good for him after he came back after the All-Star break. He was pretty good for the first 2 appearances. 2 of 10 today, not good enough. Was getting killed by Cade on defense. Al, 3 of 10, not good enough. Kristaps, 4 of 11, not good enough. Just really, really bad day for everybody to decide not to play well at the same time.
Yeah, it was weird because, like, if you look at the box score, it does look like they stopped the guys in the spots they wanted to. Like, Cade was only 9 of 21, and he was 1 of 4, right? Tobias Harris was 6 of 10, 2 of 4, but I feel like the way they guard Tobias Harris, they're pretty comfortable letting him try to get some of those buckets. That's fine. Excuse me. The real killer was Malik Beasley. They didn't find him in transition. They didn't close out on threes well enough. Like, he buried them in this game, like, for real. Like, outside of that, this is what you should want if you're the Celtics. Like, maybe you don't want Jalen Duren shooting 6 or 7, but stuff like that's going to happen. They didn't protect the rim well enough. Tobias Harris getting most of his looks on those middies. You live with those. They've been consistent at living with those all year. Cade didn't shoot very well. But he was a good, passer. He had 4 turnovers, which is pretty good. But Malik Beasley, you got killed by Malik Beasley. Like that was the difference in this game. That is why they lost this game. They didn't find him. They didn't do a good enough job defending him. It's a weird game to like break down and analyze because like you look at the numbers and they shot the ball really well, but they lost by 20, and it's
they gave
because
up 60 paint points.
yeah, they were revolving door in the paint. I tweeted it during the game. It doesn't feel like they were playing good enough one-on-one defense. Like it felt like Cade and anybody else who had the ball in their hands were able to break down their defender too easily, and then that led to the defense rotating, and then Cade was getting easy passes for the 11 assists he had. Kristaps had a pretty rough game. He couldn't really get a lot of those spots in the paint. Both teams were really mad at the refs, like for a long stretch of this game. Tobias Harris got a tech. Felt like they were mad at all the physicality being allowed versus, getting hacked and it being a foul. There were probably some that should have been called, but I'd rather this than the 39 free throw Timberwolves Thunder game we saw the other night. Like it is what it is. They just didn't do a good enough job. And like I said, it's fine. It happens. Like this isn't a game to freak out about. I don't think this is a game to overreact to. They didn't play good enough defense. And just like you can have a 20% shooting night sometimes this shit happens. Sometimes your defense isn't there and you're not as focused as you need to be. And this is the exact embodiment of the question that Noah asked Joe this season. And Joe was like, oh, you're like, yes. Like he stopped the whole press conference. Like, this is what I'm talking about. Like the same way teams can slump from 3, teams can slump on defense. And this was just a defense slump game, unfortunately. Like it just felt like they weren't connected and weren't in line with the standards that they need to keep. And that's all right. They won 6 in a row before this. They got a big stretch against the Cavs and the Nuggets coming up, and then more games next week. That should be fun. So these games happen. They won 6 in a row. Like I said at the start, when you win 6 in a row and when you win a lot in a row, stuff comes crashing down sometimes. And so they just got to figure it out from there.
I think if we want to shout anybody out, Peyton Pritchard deserves some recognition. Pretty good game off the bench, 18 points, 6 of 10 from the field, gave them a nice boost. He was making threes before the half where they needed him to. Him and Al were the ones that led them back to tie the game at 55. And, it was a good showing for him for his 6th Man of the Year campaign. Very tough that Malik Beasley is also in the running and he's on the other side of that. And probably outplayed him in this game, got the win, really was a great spark for the Pistons. But Pritchard, good efficiency bounce back from the Raptors game. He was a little inefficient in that one, but he looked confident, loved the confidence we're seeing him pull up in transition, hit threes. You think it's going in every single time. So I hope he's ready for Friday. They're going to need him on Friday. Friday's going to be a tough game at the Garden. You got the Cavs coming in. Cavs have won 8 in a row, so got to come to play, and I'm sure they will. Like, this was just a weird gap game. I was surprised how well they motivated themselves against the Raptors yesterday. Like, I don't know if it was the headbands, as funny as it was. Like, they just needed something to, like, make it fun to go up there.
You remember what the
play.
Raptors tweeted out last time they beat the Celtics?
The Brandon Jennings picture? Yeah. I mean, that could have been it, too.
Who knows, man? Like I said, sometimes you win, you play at such a high level for so long. Like the Celtics have won 6 straight games by 15 points or 10 points after the Raptors game. Like you're bound to have an off night. It just happens. That is the nature of that's why you play the games. And that's what happened in this one. So, like I said, it is what it is. They didn't play good enough defense. They didn't guard the pick and roll well enough. Their individual defense wasn't good. They didn't, the paint was a sieve. Or they were a sieve, whatever you want to call it.
I forgot about this. We had a whole vocabulary dictionary day last year where I learned that is a sand strainer.
Exactly. Yes, sir. But it is what it is. Shit happens, and they'll go from there. How about my man just being fucking terrible in 4 minutes?
Well, that play was great because you had Shireman drive to the basket, excellent pump fake, and then like his batteries died on the controller and he couldn't go up with the shot when he had created an open look for himself, and he kicks out to Tillman and Tillman just bricks. And I was like, this is the ultimate like Jack disaster play.
And 2 minutes later, he was standing with the ball at the top of the key, and someone just took it from him. Like there was nothing more to it than he was standing there. Someone goes, "Thank you," and just took the ball out of his hands. He is horrendous, and I love him. He like genuinely the nicest person I've ever talked to in this line of work. Like I don't know what happened. I'm baffled as to what happened.
I think he had knee surgery and never quite
Bro,
got back.
The preseason, he was great. He was awesome in the preseason. He was incredible.
I mean, physical limitations with a knee surgery, good preseason or not, combined with low confidence is a motherfucker. And that
I know.
I think low confidence is ultimately what we're seeing at this point.
It was
guys on his last legs in the NBA. He's getting spot minutes, and like he's not really getting a chance to prove himself, and he's pressing so hard when he's out there.
It was just literally like overnight. Like it was great in the last preseason game and then awful in the regular season. Like there was no, I don't know, man. Very weird. Very, very weird. Regardless, fun game. Pistons looked really fun. They'll be a good team.
Can't wait to watch the Pistons in the playoffs. I cannot wait. Oh my God, the Knicks lose?
I don't know. No, they're up by 3 right now.
Why did Dan tweet Sixers 1-0 in the post-podcast P era? I thought they had some miracle get pulled off. I was following the score.
I think the Sixers are up by a lot. And then Jalen Brunson. Yeah, Sixers are up by 19 in the fourth quarter.
No. The Knicks were up by 19.
Oh. I see. I don't know. Whatever. Regardless, I think that just about does it. Before we go, though, I do need to quickly tell you guys about PrizePicks. You thought you were getting away from me today. PrizePicks is the best place.
We almost won.
I know. We almost won our PrizePicks today. We were literally one Jayson Tatum or Cade Cunningham assist away from pushing it and winning a little bit of money, which it is what it is. We're back. We're back on the PrizePicks. It's the best place to get real money sports action. 10 million members, billions of dollars in awarded winnings. Just pick more or less than at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000x your cash. It's the best way to get action in more than 30 different states: California, Texas, Georgia, Florida, Massachusetts, right here. Sign up today, get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Maybe Jayson Tatum gets up a bunch of threes. They took that away from us today. Maybe Peyton Pritchard goes for a bunch of points. You check that out. Chef something up with us on the pregame. Win real money this basketball season with you and maybe us if you tune into the pregame. Run your game on PrizePicks. Sam and I are back. We are. Do we add a tie section because we pushed?
We're 1-1-1.
Yeah, we're
0-1-1.
Yeah, 0-1-1.
We have 1 point.
Yes,
through 3 or 2 games.
Exactly. Come tune in. It'll be a good time. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, run your game. And let's throw it over to the rest of the show right now. All right, welcome back. Hopefully it was a fun game for us to discuss. Let's jump over to the email. Reminder as always, you guys can email us at hbtcpod@gmail.com. That's hbtcpod@gmail.com. Only have one today. It's from the GOAT, RJ. RJ Johnson says, got my wish and then some. Morning, folks. Phil had it right in the comments from the Raptors win. I did enjoy that game. Seeing Walsh, Shireman, Cada, and Davison, I don't know why I said Shireman like that, get meaningful court time against a scrappy Toronto team showed some of their improvements and some of their areas of improvement, quote unquote, as human resources is fond of saying. Jordan and Baylor looked comfortable in every aspect of the game that wasn't shooting. Nemi's fouls early on I can chalk up to him prepping for the game in a double big role and then having to understudy at the last second as the only big. And JD didn't have any turnovers while he provided both Pritchard and White a 3-minute breather. None of this is going to get the going in the career highlight reel for any of them, but part of getting better is having the chance to play through stretches. Best of all, the Celtics posted a W at the end of this main Celtics scrimmage. Be well, RJ, who also watches the last 3 innings of spring training games with as much joy.
Yeah, it did have a little bit of like a preseason feel with everybody getting all the minutes yesterday. Like we talked about on the post game, JD dribbling at the Raptors logo for 20 seconds and then throwing a grenade to Shireman and then Tatum on a later possession. Shows you why he has the role that he has with the Celtics. It was increasingly good to see Shireman out there, though, and to get real minutes. I think that will be helpful for him in his development and his confidence. He actually scored a basket yesterday, which doesn't happen often when he plays with the Boston Celtics rather than the main Celtics. I always like to see Walsh, too. I think he's a fun prospect. He's probably the one that you could throw out there in a playoff situation and feel the best about of all the young stay ready guys. I do like Torrey Craig over him at this point, but he's certainly an encouraging guy. And of course, Nimi hacking everybody. That's what he does.
Yeah, indeed. Indeed. Nimi is the only center. Was an interesting look. They played Torrey Craig at center of the box score. By the time this is going out, you will have seen my video. Derek White played center for a lot of this game too. This is by far the most excited I've been for a video I've been making. I was in like flow state before we started recording. I had over 5 minutes. Well, that's a lie. My recording time for like the audio I recorded, because a lot of it is like I'll go like this, like Derek White played like I'll say it like over and over again because I keep messing up. My entire recording time was 14 minutes of me just talking into the mic.
Dog.
And I had to cut it down to 3 minutes, below 3 minutes, because that's how long an Instagram reel like short can be. And so I'm trying to like keep it across all platforms. And so I've finally cut it down to like 250, but I need to cut it down a little further so I can have the audio played for the clips of the 2 blocks, which again, by the time this is out, you'll see all of it. But like I was like, by the time I got it down to everything I might want to include, it was like 450. And I'm like, all right, shit. I had to just like continue cutting out little tidbits here and there. But I think we've got it to a good spot. And like I said, I'm very pumped because it was very, very cool the way they used Derek White. And I'm excited that I saw it and put it together. But anyways, thank you, RJ, for the email. We appreciate you very much. Let's jump on over to the NBA standings here. And before I even pull it up, because I do this every time, I can tell you that it's Cavs, Celtics, Knicks. Shocker. Who would have thought that that's the top 3 in the Eastern Conference? That hasn't changed in months at this point. Cavs number 1 at 48-10. Celtics at 42-16, 6 games behind. When you see 6 games behind, it feels like they're a lot further back, but like 48-10 versus 42-16, like it's not as far off when you say it that way, in my opinion. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, this is not me saying I think they'll catch the Cavs, but just for some context, they're both in the 40 wins. Neither has lost 20 games. Like, they're in the same world. I don't think, and obviously I would pick the Celtics in the playoff series regardless. Celtics are now 4.5 games up on the Knicks, who have lost 2 in a row. Pacers are only 4.5 games back of them, so there's the same gap between 2 and 3 as there is between 3 and 4 now. Pacers have won 6 of their last 10. They're cooking a little bit. Bucks in 5th, Pistons in 6th. Pistons only a game out of hosting a playoff series, which I'm sure you saw. They've won 7 in a row. Very cool. You got the Magic, Hawks, Heat, and Bulls. I feel a little bad for the Magic. They've just gotten fried with injuries and not being able to put it together all season. Their offense is really not good, but they're 5-5 in their last 10. Again, Magic, Hawks, Heat, Bulls. Nets are only a game and a half out of that play-in spot, with the Sixers a game behind them. Sixers now 2.5 games out of that play-in spot, lost 8 in a row. Raptors, Hornets, Wizards rounding out the bottom. The Wizards, though, have finally won 10 games. Let's clap it up for Washington. Good job, guys.
So I suppose while we're here, we can talk about the Pistons. The Pistons, like you mentioned, have won 7 in a row. They just beat the Clippers the other day. They may have lost by the time you're hearing this because they're playing the Celtics today as we record. But nonetheless, this is the first time that they have won 7 straight games since January 7th, 2015. Poster on Reddit went through and listed some of the things that were...
Wait, what was that date? I wanna find
January 7th, 2015.
Okay.
Poster on Reddit listed a few things that were true on that date. So we'll go through. Cade Cunningham was in 8th grade. Tim Duncan and Kevin Garnett were still in the NBA. The Golden State Warriors had yet to win a title in the Curry era. Ron Holland was 9. Barack Obama was president. And Willie Green was a player in the NBA.
Wow.
It's been a while for our Pistons.
So
It's good to see them winning again.
For context, the Pistons finished 32-50 that year. So the fact that they had a 7-game win streak that season is wild. They started the season 3-19. So they definitely picked it up by the end of the year. But in that stretch of 7 wins, which happened from December 28th, 2014, excuse me, to January 7th, 2015, they beat the Pacers, Cavs, Magic, Knicks, Kings, Spurs, and Mavericks. And again, for the time period, I'm going to give you a little bit of context as to who they actually beat on those teams. They beat the Paul George Pacers. They beat the LeBron James, Kyrie Irving, Kevin Love Cavs. Excuse me. They beat the Tobias Harris, Victor Oladipo Magic. They beat the Carmelo Anthony, Tim Hardaway Jr., J.R. Smith Knicks. They beat the Boogie Cousins, Ben McLemore Kings. They beat the Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker Spurs. And they beat the Dirk Nowitzki, Tyson Chandler, JJ Barea Mavericks.
Just some quality wins in there.
Add some context for you. Yeah, no, of the teams that they beat that season, in that stretch, the Pacers finished 38-44, so they did not make the playoffs. But the Cavs obviously lost in the finals, so that's a pretty good win. The Magic were 25-57, so not very good. The Knicks were 17-65, so they were also ass, so maybe not as good as we thought. Kings were 29-53. The Spurs, however, 55-27, lost in the first round. Mavs 50-32, so they beat 3 playoff teams in that stretch.
I can't believe the Pistons are like this fun. Like, I thought they would be in that playing range, not this good. Like, they legitimately have an opportunity to have home court, like, or to get themselves into that home court fight, at least. I mean, technically they're in it now. There's no way that anybody could have predicted it would be this good for them. I felt that they had talent going into the year. The real surprise is that Jaden Ivey broke his leg, and then they're all of a sudden better. Like, they're winning like a fuck ton of games now. So that's really exciting. I'll be rooting for them, except for Wednesday night. And going forward, I hope they have a great season.
Now, Sam, I have the player stats for the Pistons over that 7-game stretch. Like, I now have the stats of who averaged what in that stretch.
Oh, in the 2015
in that 7 game. Yep, of that 7-game stretch. Who led them in points during that stretch? Do you want a clue? I'll give you a clue.
No, not yet. Let me think about it.
Okay.
I feel like either Andre Drummond or Brandon Jennings has to be in the conversation.
Brandon Jennings, 19.3 points a game, 6 assists in that stretch. You want to guess who's second? Andre Drummond was 4th. He averaged 14 and 16 rebounds.
Was Greg Monroe?
He was 3rd at 15 and 11.
Who's the other fucking guard they had?
I don't know if you're gonna get the second. It's quite the name.
It's quite the name.
I'll give you some guys further down the list. DJ Augustine was 5th at 11 and 6 assists. KCP was 22 at the time. He averaged 10 points. They had Jerebko, Kyle Singler, Caron Butler, Anthony Tolliver. Spencer Dinwiddie wasn't getting minutes, but he was on the team. Joel Anthony and Cartier Martin.
But number 2 on the team yet?
If he was, he did not play.
He might have. I did not think he was the second guy, for what it's worth. I just know he was a member of the Pistons for a little while before he ended up in Milwaukee.
He was 2013. 2012, 2013 was the only season at Detroit. Was traded to Milwaukee the 2 games after. Immediately after. I don't know if I have.
I give up. Who is it?
Jody Meeks averaged 16 points. Yeah, Jody Meeks. Listen to the stat line. Jody Meeks in those 7 games averaged 16 points, 1.7 rebounds, 1.3 assists. His job, shoot the basketball. That's all he did. He took 11 shots a game, 5 threes a game, shot 50% from the field, and 58.8% from 3. And that's
nothing but buckets.
Nothing but buckets. 93% from line 2. Jody Meeks.
He was ahead of his time, low-key, with that shooting.
I guess so.
Like
shit, he was
distribution.
What a guy with Jody Meeks. Jody Meeks now an assistant basketball coach for the Pelicans.
And Willie Green.
Anyways, exactly.
One more thing in the East. It continues to be remarkable that Philly is far and away the worst team in the last 10 games.
So bad.
Like, it just keeps getting worse. They play the Knicks tonight, so they could be on a 9-game losing streak as you're listening to this. I mean, this is kind of a win-win for us, or for at least me. One of those teams gets to lose today. That's awesome.
Wait, who
it does suck that somebody has to win. Knicks Sixers tonight.
Yeah, it's not a bad situation for you to be in.
Also, shout out to the guy that went at Jack on Twitter and was like, the Celtics were going to lose that game until Cat got hurt. I had to jump in and also like go at him because
That's
I was
funny.
just like, why not? I just replied with the ESPN graphic of all the final scores this year.
I love people like that. I love those Twitter reply guys. Anyways, next thing, Western Conference. OKC at 46-11, 8.5 games ahead of the Grizzlies and Nuggets, who are both 38-20. Lakers and Rockets are right behind them at 10.5 games back. Then you got the Clippers holding down the fort, I should say, at 6. But the Timberwolves are tied with them in terms of games back at 15 games back. So they're right there. Warriors have been on a run, 4 in a row, 7-3 in the last 10, 15.5 games back. They're in contention for a top 6 seed as well. The Jimmy Butler experiment is going swimmingly. The Mavs have lost 2 in a row, but they're still in that play-in mix firmly. Kings still in 10th. Suns 2.5 games out of that 10 seed. But then the Blazers have officially jumped above the Spurs. They've won one more game, but also lost one more. So they're both 21.5 games back. But by winning percentage, they are ahead of the Spurs. And they're closer to the Suns than the Suns are to the play-in. The Blazers are doing stuff this season, man. They deserve a ton of credit. And then obviously Spurs right behind them because Wemby got hurt, and then the Pelicans and the Jazz at the bottom.
They are tied for the 5th best record in the last 10 games in the West.
Yeah,
shout out to the Blazers. Little tidbit, I forgot to put this on the sheet, so we can just talk about it now. OKC has finally lost a game. They are still 8.5 games above everybody. They lost to Minnesota the other day, and after the game, Chris Finch took the mic at the podium, had some things to say about the Oklahoma City Thunder. This is what he had to say. He said, "It's so frustrating to play this team because they foul a ton. They foul all the time. And then you really can't touch Shea. It's a very frustrating thing, and it takes a lot of mental toughness to play through it." So are the OKC Thunder referee merchants?
Well, did you see what people were responding with?
No. What was?
Oh, hold on. Don't look.
Oh,
I'm gonna explain.
I see the first reply to this tweet, but go ahead and reveal it.
So the Timberwolves shot like 40 free throws.
Got first reply. Minnesota shot 32 free throws in the second half alone. Stop it.
Yes. That said, I do think what he's saying is true because the Thunder, not that there's anything wrong with it. Like I think the Thunder, I feel like the Thunder have established the Draymond Green buffer for themselves. The Thunder plays such an aggressive, like hound you style of basketball on defense that the refs just like by the nature of it let them get away with more stuff, because if they didn't, they would just constantly get called for fouls and that would ruin the game, blah blah blah, which again, like that's a credit to them for the level of defense and the level of intensity they play with. I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but I do understand the frustrations of playing that and then Shea gets to the line 13 times a game or whatever it is, like there is a natural annoyance that comes with something like that.
Oh man, it's so funny that he just got absolutely like cooked in the replies to that.
Yeah. Yes. The final free throws in that game were the Thunder took 29 and the Timberwolves took 39. So yeah.
The West is shaping up to be competitive now, man.
Mhm.
Denver, even though they're 8.5 back of OKC, has won 9 out of 10. The Lakers are playing really well, which sucks for me, but I mean, I guess it's good for the league because people are excited about that team. Like even I tuned in to see
them credit,
Luka game
man.
yesterday.
Give them credit. They're playing well. They're playing good basketball.
We'll see how all that holds up in a playoff series where Luka has to defend.
Sure.
They have to rely on Jackson Hayes as a massive minutes eater at the center spot. And how long, not that he's shown he won't, but if LeBron will hold up at his age and whatever. There's a lot of questions with them. Okay, not OKC. Denver has depth questions, but they're playing a lot better right now.
I will say,
interested to see them on Sunday.
The Lakers, like it does feel like even if LeBron isn't holding up super well, they will be able to make a run or win a couple playoff games. Like, because the thing is, you remember that Mavs team that beat the Suns in like the Luka versus Devin Booker game? Like, you think of that roster, it was Luka, Jalen Brunson, and a bunch of role players. I'm not saying Austin Reeves is the next Jalen Brunson, but they have a very similar structure without LeBron even like in the picture to that team. Like it is very much like bar for bar. Like it looks almost exactly like that team. I'm gonna go look.
Was Dwight Powell playing massive?
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
It is wild to think. I'm gonna go look right now and compare the two rosters, minus LeBron James, who like will obviously be helpful in a playoff series regardless of what age he is.
Well, him and Luka could just literally like act like a wrestling tag team and tag in and out, like
Exactly.
just do
So
the same thing.
in that playoffs, it was Dwight Powell playing 14 minutes a game, Maxi Kleber playing 28 minutes a game, and then Reggie Bullock got 39 minutes a game. And Dorian Finney-Smith got 38 minutes a game. Luka missed 3 games, but Brunson played 35. Luka played 37. Like, look at this. There are no centers. It's Powell and Kleber splitting the center minutes, and then Dorian Finney-Smith and Reggie Bullock playing forward. Like this went to the conference finals. This roster,
Well,
and
you
they
forgot
traded this
Boba.
guy. Fuck off. This team went to the conference finals, and then you look at this team, like minus Anthony Davis, obviously, because I can't filter out the trade, etc. But because there's a lot of trades and shit that went on. But like Austin Reeves, like ignore LeBron James for a second. Austin Reeves, Luka Doncic, Rui Hachimura, Dorian Finney-Smith, and Jackson Hayes. I'm not saying it's better than this team because Jalen Brunson was good, but this was before Jalen Brunson was Jalen Brunson. And then you add in the fact that they have LeBron James, they have, Dalton Connect, they have Jordan Goodwin, who's been playing pretty well. They have like other guys. I'm not saying they're going to make a conference finals run, but I can see the vision for why people think that Lakers could be a team in the playoffs that make a run, because it is almost the same thing that happened a few years ago with that Mavs team.
Yeah, I'll be rooting against it. That's for sure. Fuck the Lakers always.
Sure.
But they did have a big win yesterday.
They did, and
they beat the Mavs. It was a pretty competitive game. Luka's first game against Dallas since being traded. Nico Harrison was there wearing the bluest suit you could ever imagine. He was dressed.
Did you see the picture?
People were saying that was a Photoshop.
Oh, was it?
I don't know if it was or not, but it might be. We have to hedge our bets and be like, it might be a Photoshop, but there's a photo of Luka staring into the crowd and Nico Harrison just sitting there like with a dumbass look on his face, being like, oh, fuck, I probably shouldn't have done what I did.
Yeah, there's this. I don't know if it's a Photoshop. Excuse me. I don't think it's real. Here's a screenshot. This isn't real. Luka had a fresh fade last night. Okay, yeah, it's not real. Still, whatever. It's
Luka
not
had
real.
A fresh fade last night. That was
sure. Yeah.
He did have a triple double, 19, 15, and 12.
Did you see him laugh at Max
game,
Christie?
What did you see? Clap at him?
Laughed at him.
Yeah, I did.
Look at this.
Max Christie layup block by Rui was tough.
I tweeted it because it was funny, and I wrote about it, so I wanted to embed it. And he just got blocked, and Luka just looks back.
Very mean.
Oh man.
The best part about that play, and I remember thinking it in real time, is like, holy shit, Luka didn't even play defense on this. Like,
I
he
know.
got blown by. The only reason that play happened is because he was a cone.
I know.
After the game, the entire Mavs team and staff like went up and like did like a handshake line with Luka, but it was hugs. They were all happy to see him. So it says a lot about the way they felt about the trade, and how they probably didn't think it should have happened, and they're all pretty pissed. And then we, of course, with this game and in the magnitude it had, the buzz that it had for a late February NBA game, we got tons of reporting about the trade come out. So we can go through some of that. Mark Stein put out a report yesterday, and the big tidbit from his write-up was that Nico Harrison and the Mavericks, one, were committed to trading Luka by the summer. Like, he was going to get traded no matter what, which is a masterpiece by them. And the reason why is because they did not want the team to revolve around Luka.
Now, Sam, I don't know about you, but if I drafted a player like Luka, that's exactly what I'd want.
Yeah, there's probably like 28 teams, 27 teams in the NBA that would trade their current situation to have their team revolve around Luka.
Well, did you hear there was a report like a week after the trade came out, or like the day or a couple days, that they offered a Luka trade to another team and the other team said no? Like one other team. And it was I forget, I think the Athletic wrote it up. I forget who exactly.
Was it Milwaukee?
I assume it was the Spurs. I assume they like, hey, can we have Wemby? And they're like, no. And then like that's the only thing that makes sense.
Saw, and it might have been, I did
think
see this, but it might not have been real, or like it would have been like hypothetically they would not have done this, but there was like the Bucks would have said no.
I don't think the Bucks would have traded Giannis for sure, but I feel like I saw it was Wemby out there, and that would make sense considering they wanted a defensive-minded big, and I mean, I guess Giannis is that too technically, but I don't know. It feels like the Spurs would have been an
The
obvious
best
one.
part about this trade, and we have more reports to go through, but just like looking at this, well, we'll talk about this part. Dave McMenamin of ESPN did kind of give some insight into Luka's feelings, motivations. He hasn't come out and said anything about this publicly. McMenamin writes, though Doncic didn't publicly comment on the constant flow of leaks from the Mavericks organization disparaging his weight and conditioning. One source close to Luka told ESPN that the comments have served as a motivator. "Quote unquote, a beast was awakened inside of him," the source said. It's going to be really fun in like 10 years when this is looked at as a fucking disaster. And Nico Harrison like comes out and tries to like claim that he did it because he realized after the Celtics finals that there was no way to motivate this guy unless you did something like this. Like he tries to be
Hmm.
like this hero. Like, oh, I realized he was one of the great NBA talents and I had to do something to not let it go to waste.
Ramona Shelburne asked him if he saw it or if he talked to Nico Harrison, and Luca goes, "I didn't see him." And then she goes in this whole like detail of like Nico Harrison was wearing the most like vibrant blue suit. He absolutely there's literally no way he didn't see it, but
Yes.
Luka Doncic just be very fun. And then a few days or a little bit before this game happened, Mark Spears was on the Cedric Maxwell podcast with obviously Max and Josue
Yep.
Pavone,
Poking
CLNS
around our
Media.
neck of the woods.
Exactly. And he said, talking about Jaylen Brown, that dude, he is the reason why Luka got traded. He shut him down in the finals. What he did to Luka in the finals, shutting him down, guarding him full court, making it unbearable offensively, led Dallas to start questioning Luka as the leader of the team and questioning whether or not he was in shape or not. Right? Like if Dallas wins that series, he's still in Dallas. So I went to look at
We said
what.
this.
Yeah, I went to look at how the matchup went in the playoffs. Jaylen Brown guarded Luka Doncic more than any Celtics player guarded any other player they played in the playoffs that season. It was 32 minutes, 4 seconds of Jaylen on Luka. The next most was Drew Holiday guarding Tyler Hero in the first round for 30-29. In that time, Luka Doncic shot 9 of 22, 2 of 8 from 3, and had 5 turnovers. He had 9 assists too, so you give him credit, but pretty good job. did a pretty good job of guarding Luka. Only fouled him twice, or shooting fouled him twice in that span. And then that, I don't know if you saw that spawned a bunch of people throwing the picture of Luka. Like, oh, I need to find it. Everyone on Twitter was like, Luka showed up like this to the finals. They didn't actually beat him. It was Luka like all wrapped up in all the ice that he was because he was like hurt going to the finals. And it's just a really funny like dialogue. Like, yeah, here it is. Here. This is the tweet I saw. It was, "This is how Luka showed up the finals. I promise you Jaylen Brown didn't lock shit up." And it's the Lakers chip. I thought you'd enjoy that.
Oh man, there's another tidbit in here. We can talk about all of it. Sam Amick from The Athletic gave some more insight into why the Mavericks traded Luka Doncic.
Yep.
Make no mistake, the people who witnessed Doncic's last days in Dallas do not paint a flattering portrait of the 25-year-old's professionalism. Say that 5 times fast, Jesus. They call him lazy. They talk about the weight issues that were such a frustration within their walls. They mention the social habits that The Athletic has reported on, such as a taste for beer and hookah, which have been a point of concern for NBA types since he was a 19-year-old star for Real Madrid who was entering the NBA draft. They predict his basketball demise, highlighting a health history that, as some see it, will likely lead to a catastrophe in the next 5 years or so. Now, I have never heard of any NBA players drinking alcohol or smoking anything.
Surely not. Definitely not. That's definitely a Luka only problem. I wonder who Sam Amick talked to for this article. I wonder who he was speaking with that was like, yeah, get this out there, get this out there. I wonder which side of the coin this
Yeah.
stemmed from.
I mean, this is like, while there is like, I kind of get that.
It's defamation. You're just fucking defaming it.
I mean, like, I don't like all these guys. I'm like, what percentage of the league do you think smokes? It's got to be at least 65, and that
I mean,
is
there was a
lowballing.
clip. There was a clip of Malik Beasley on a stream, and he thought it was ended. He goes, and he just goes, "All right, light that shit up."
Yeah. I mean, like, what are we talking about? Just to go back to the finals thing too. with the JB. So we said this. Like, the first thing that I thought when this trade happened was Anthony Davis's dad, and also that the Celtics killed the Luka Mavs. Like, they did. They humiliated them. They made an example of Luka. It was this huge, like, look how much he can't play defense, like, production. Let's talk about, I mean, if you want to talk about motivation, and it's hilarious that this is what it has taken to motivate him, because we have the McMiniman report that's like that he has a beast awakened. Like, a beast was not awakened when Brian Windhorst went on air for 3 minutes and just roasted you on the fucking rotisserie. Like, Windhorst, and everyone's like, Windy spitting facts. Like, this dude is just like, Luka needs to take a look in the mirror and lose weight, and just like, he obliterated Luka on live television. Like, that didn't wake him up. I feel like Windy would be like the most offensive person to have say that to you, and it did nothing for him.
I don't think Luka gives a shit about the media, though. Like, I don't think he cares. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think he cares. That's got to be it. Like, who cares? Imagine if just going back to the drinking alcohol thing. Imagine after like seeing Jayson Tatum drink champagne in the locker room, the Celtics are like, I don't know about this guy. I don't know about that one.
Brad Stevens is like enjoying the celebration. He just whips his head around.
I was on Sportsnet Radio with Marcus Fitzgerald. It's like a radio thing in Vancouver, and he was just like, imagine if after like the 22 finals, they were just like, I don't know if Tatum can hack it. He just got lost in the finals. I think he's got to go. Like, just, oh my God, we're like 3 weeks out of this Luka trade, and it is still the most ridiculous shit I've ever heard in my life. And I'm like down on Luka, I think, versus consensus. Like, Oliver Fox came on here on the night of Luka trade on the stream and goes, I would have traded Tatum for Luka, which is blasphemous in my opinion. But like, there are people who truly believe that. I think it's silly, but even I admit that he's a top 5 player in the league, and you just trade him because he's fat and smokes and drinks. As Anthony Edwards said, and I don't agree with Anthony Edwards on much. You know that. I don't care if he's 300 fucking pounds. He's giving you a 30-point triple-double. Like, there's levels. Come on, man.
What a great night this was. Also, Kyrie played great in this game. He was incredible. Like, to start this game, I was like, oh my God, Kyrie's going to give them a run for their money. Ended with like 35 points. He was really fun to watch. He looks great, by the way. Haircut, clean shaven.
Yeah.
He has like weird bruises on the side of his face, though. What the fuck happened to him? Or maybe it's just like the way the light was hitting him, but it looked like he had like bruises on both sides of his eyes.
It could have just been, I don't know. I have no idea.
Anyways, we're not here to talk about Kyrie. But yeah, also you had the Jordan thing where they had the Luka car and they gave free parking to Lakers fans, which was actually pretty cool. Yeah, man, really fun night for late February. Can't complain about it. And then you have like the complete opposite end of the spectrum where like a team having the least fun. The Charlotte Hornets are giving the Washington Wizards a run for butt-ass team of the year. The Hornets have lost their last 3 games by a combined 131 points. This is one of the worst, if not the worst, stretches in NBA history. They lost to the Blazers by 53, the Kings by 42, and the Warriors by 36. So they are getting better every game. They're slowly improving. Maybe they're only going to lose by 30 next game. But that is an incredible stretch. The Hornets have been like, we talked about the Pistons not having a 7-game win streak since 2015. Is there a way for you to quickly look up how long it's been since the Hornets won 7 straight games?
Hornets longest win streak. I'm just gonna do ever first. Their longest win streak ever is 10. They won 7 in a row in the 2015-16 season, so more recent than the Pistons. Kemba. It's just Kemba.
It is just Kemba. But my God, what a terrible franchise to be a fan of. Like, at least the Wizards made the second round of the playoffs in 2017. I don't know if have the Hornets ever won a playoff series? I don't think they have.
Have the Hornets ever won a playoff series? I mean, they probably did back in the day.
Yeah, they beat the Celtics in playoff series. They definitely did. But I don't think they've won one since they became the Bob.
So the Hornets haven't won a playoff series. So they disbanded and came back briefly in the when was it? I don't know what this is. The last time the Hornets won a playoff series was 2001, 2002. So they haven't won a playoff series since they became the Bobcats because they missed 2 seasons in there. The last time they won a playoff series was they beat the Orlando Magic 3-1 in the first round of the 2002 playoffs, and their leading scorer that series
Baron Davis?
was trying to find it. Let's see. Their leading scorer that playoffs was Baron Davis, at 22.6. And their second, third, and fourth and fifth were David Wesley, Eldon Campbell, Jamal Magloire, and PJ Brown. So not
Shout
great.
out PJ Brown, Celtic champion.
Shout out PJ Brown. What a mess, man. I want to see if there's a here we go. I want to see what the largest 3-game streak is. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, like
the
negative point differential over a 3-game span.
I don't know if I can find it or how I would be able to find it, but I don't think I'll be able
This
to
has to be one of the worst. I mean, it's not often that you lose by 40. Never mind doing it twice in like two games. Hell, losing by 30 in 3 straight games is almost unheard of.
I don't know. Can I look at I don't even know how I would find this. Okay, net points at least, or I don't even know how I would look at this. That, and then can I make the streak like shorter? Games.
What site are you on? Oh, that was bad. What site are you on?
Stathead.
Stat.
I don't know if this is gonna do it, but I'm gonna see if this works. Yeah, I don't know how I'd be able to find it. I have no way of finding it, but this is not great. The Hornets are not very good. For context, over their over their last 3 games, some player stats for you. LaMelo Ball has not played, so he's played in 2 of the games, and he's only averaging 25 minutes a night. And he's shooting 17% from the field and 9% from 3 in those 2 games. Miles Bridges has led them in scoring. KJ Simpson played in 1, put up 16. Yusuf Nurkic is their 3rd leading scorer, effectively. Not great. Nick Smith Jr. has played a lot.
How about their rookie?
Damian Baugh had played. Tijan Salon has been horrendous.
Oh.
Yeah, and they picked him over. Who'd they pick him over? They picked him over somebody good, right?
Picked him over Klinging, picked him over Dillingham, picked him over Edie, picked him over
McCain later in the draft. Cody Williams, Buzelis, Topic, Carter, Bob Carrington, McCain.
They could have had Connect in the draft if they wanted him.
Yep, exactly. Oh, Charlotte. They are just fucking tragic. Anyways, Sam, before we do the rat list, I want to show you a clip. Did you see the clip of Trey Murphy on Twitter today with Chris Paul?
I saw you retweeted it. I almost listened to it, but I was like, maybe he'll show me on the show. So I have not heard this.
Let's go. This is one of the funniest clips I've seen today. Trey Murphy is hilarious, right? Trey Murphy's done some podcasts. He's done stuff with like the Old Man in 3 or the Young Man in 3, I suppose now. So they mic'd him up for the Pelicans Spurs game, and Chris Paul goes to guard him, and just listen. Just listen.
No, Chris. Stop, Chris. Hey.
No. I just thought that was funny. It made me laugh. Anyways, Sam, Ratless, what do you got for me?
Ratless is fucking congestion. So I got home from LA finally back in New England. Love New England, love Rhode Island. I have a fucking stuffy nose and one nostril. And I've been blowing my nose, nothing, no success. I only have shit come out of my nose when it decides to leak out. I can't get it out. I can't blow it out. I can't get any fucking kind of help. I'm furious with this. It's making it difficult. I mean, at least I haven't lost my voice. That is a good thing. But yeah, rat list is that. I'm listening. I have to let this cat out of my room. He's fucking walking around like he's gonna pee.
I want to see him. Bring him up to the camera. Give him some screen time. I need to know his name too, but I know you're muted. Yeah, look at him. I love the cats. What do I want a rat list? What's the cat's name? Wait, what's the cat's name? Sly. That's cute. How old is he?
So he's like always been like a prick. He's always like causing trouble and everything. And like I'll like walk in here and he'll be laying on my bed and he'll look at me like he's in trouble. So I've started to try and be nice to him because I feel bad. Like he's like living in a constant fear. And he's kind of lost that a little bit.
How old is he?
I don't know. We've had him for a while. He was like living outside, and we like took him in.
You gave him a life. Shout out Sly. What do I want to rat list? Rat list. So I have decided to swear off DoorDash. This is my new thing. So as I started walking 10,000 steps since December, which I've still done, I'm still doing that. I have now decided I'm not going to order DoorDash anymore because it was really bad, it was like money, obviously unhealthy, whatever. So I'm just like cooking again. I got a bunch of food at the grocery store the other day. It's fine. I enjoy cooking, right? Like yesterday I made like some beef like that was pre-cut. I bought at the store for tacos. It wasn't very good. I was kind of disappointed, but whatever. Made like refried beans, rice, cut up some tomatoes, onions, lettuce. Like I made myself tacos, right? It was yummy. It was good. I reheated it the next day. And then that night I made pasta with ground beef, mushrooms, and then I saw on TikTok like somebody mix red sauce with like cream cheese, and it was really good. It was like this creamy like not vodka sauce, but like creamy cheese sauce. It was yummy. It was really good.
Basically, sounds like vodka sauce.
Yeah. I reheated it. It was really good. I fucking hate cleaning pots and pans after I cook. Like
Correct.
It is just I hate it, man. And like I said, I like cooking. I enjoy like making shit. It's good. Like it's better than a lot of the shit I order on DoorDash. It's just not worth it. I cannot stand cleaning pans. Thank God we have a dishwasher. Obviously, like I throw most of my like bowls and like actual stuff in there, but like the big pans can't go in there because they're just too big. Hate it. I have a non-stick pan and it's very nice. It's like relatively easy to clean. It's just I hate it. I hate it so much.
So growing up, like the way it would go is probably was like this for you. Like whoever cooks doesn't clean. Like I would always end up cleaning if I ate like with my family for dinner. I clean the dishes. It came to a point where I would gauge whether or not I liked the food enough to clean up the sheet pan or like the baking tin, whatever it was. Like I didn't really like my mom's chicken that much. So I'd just be like, I'll like make something else later. Like I just wouldn't bother.
You're an asshole. I will say, and I know you've talked about this here too. There is, and I'm not going to say anything about, like, I know you mentioned didn't love your mom's chicken, etc. Growing up and realizing that you should use like salt, pepper, onion powder, garlic powder, change your life. You can change a lot using that, using some sauces, you like cooking it like, hey, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Also, oh man, that was so good. I forgot what I was gonna say. I had like an add-on that was like kind of worth it. Oh, I can't believe I forgot it. I'm pissed.
My bad.
It's okay. It's okay.
I
mean, there was also like a point where I was washing, like when I was working in the nursing home, like I washed mad dishes.
Yeah.
Granted, I wasn't like fucking scrubbing them and all that. Like I put them through the dishwasher. But I think I still leave the house and dishes washed.
Do you scrub your dishes before you put them in the dishwasher? Like get like most of the shit off?
Yeah. And I kind of don't like that because it feels like it defeats the purpose of. I mean, I might as well like just clean them.
My roommates don't, and it throws me off because that was always a thing. Like you'd always scrape it off, then put it in the dishwasher. Like at least a little bit. Like my roommates will put stuff on with like shit caked all over the plate, and I'm like,
does it come off?
Yeah, like mostly. Like there every once in a while it doesn't, but like for the most part, yes. But like it just threw me off because that's you know what I'm saying. Like I was always so used to just washing it off a little bit, like and then putting it in the dishwasher.
Growing up, we have a dishwasher. They'd just be like,
yeah,
we're not using it.
You wouldn't even use the dishwasher?
No.
That's psychotic. What?
Yeah. Oh, I remember what I was going to say. This is a good rat list. I think I've bitched about this on the show before. You probably will remember. I despise when I'm doing dishes and someone comes up and brings more dishes. Like, I'm a firm believer in if you dirty the thing, you wash the thing. Like, don't bring me your shit while I'm washing. It makes me so mad.
So I have an anti-rat list that goes into a rat list. So for the longest time, I was unable to find Brisk, and as you know, I'm addicted. Right, like this right here, still addicted. Still drink all the time, like constantly. They're all over my desk. I have a million. couldn't find the cans at my local Star Market. It's also a little bit of a pain in the ass because like I take the tea and then back, so I have to carry the, you know what I'm saying, like carry the can all the way, whatever. I go today and I see they have a whole aisle full of these 12 can like boxes, and I'm like, I'm probably just a moron. Let me look a little harder. I look not on the wall. I look to the middle of the aisle and they have like this stack of stuff, and I see them. It was like, oh, like it was singing to me. I was like, let's go. I found it. I went on Monday. I'm out. I have no more. I got one. There's no more in here. I'm not ordering DoorDash anymore. So I drink these with every meal. And I have this. This is the last one left. I've drank. It's Wednesday at noon, at 1 maybe, as we're recording this. I have drank 11 brisk in the last 2.5 days. Fuck, man. Like I physically couldn't carry a second one. Like there was too much shit in my bags. I
gotta
did
get
order
you like like almost like an O'Doul's for somebody that's an alcoholic. Like we need to get you something that's not brisk, but it reminds you enough of brisk that you're willing to just settle for that and concede.
I can't. I love I can't. Maybe someday, but for now, I need it. I did order 5 cases on Amazon though, so those are coming in soon. They're cheap on Amazon, man. They were on sale. They're $5 a case. Are you fucking kidding? $5 a case? $27 with tax for 60 cans? That's a deal. That's free. Oh man.
I love that you have this just like crippling iced tea addiction.
It's so good. It's so yummy. They're perfect. They're beautiful. Look at it. Look at it. It's beautiful. This is my last one. I'm gonna have it with my lunch after I finish my Derek White video. I'm so excited.
The best used to be like when I would just have like cans and cans and cans of seltzer in my room. I would just like rip 6-packs and I would keep them in the side of like this TV stand. I'd just reach in, crack one while I was playing Xbox for my 10th hour of the day.
Oh man. What a time. That's all I got though. You got anything else?
I feel like I should have something. I didn't really do anything yesterday because I was just like happy to be home. You ever get that? Like you've been gone for when you go like cover the playoffs and you get home and you're just like, oh, how lovely it is to be in my own room.
Yeah, just lay in bed and just like or watch YouTube at my desk like normal.
I am so pissed that this work trip lined up like perfectly where as soon as I left there was the Luka Lakers game.
Yeah.
Like Jack, I was in the same hotel I was in last year where I sent you guys the picture and I was across. I could see the Staples Center.
Would you have gone to the game even if it was expensive? It was probably.
I might have bought like a shit ticket and went up top and like.
Well, shit tickets were probably like $400.
We'll see. I mean, I paid $300 to go to the concert, but I had
really
pretty decent seats. Yeah, I mean, I should have went Thursday because I could have paid like half the price, but I was like, we had to record when I got in, and I had to go to a dinner. Like there just wasn't time for it. Yeah, but I really like. I don't regret going. Like I had fun.
It was sick though. Good concert.
Yeah, it was cool.
Fuck yeah. Anyways, I think that wraps it up because we're gonna have the Pistons stuff in here too from the game. So
yeah,
that can be it for us. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe to Bout Them Celtics, and I'll let Sam take it out.
Yeah, thank you very much for listening and watching. Make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe. Hit the bell. We're here every single day with new content. Full pods drop Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. Game recaps are up the morning after each game, and other videos are on the channel in between to keep you up to date with all things Celtics. So make sure you come hang out for all of it, including the pregame streams, which are a half hour before each game. Jack and I are here chatting with the chat, playing GeoGuess or doing prize picks. It's a ton of fun. Come hang out. It's a really fun live experience. Yeah, experience. Just come hang out. You can find us on Spotify and Apple too. All audio versions of the pods and game recaps are up there. So follow. They will go right to your feed. You can leave a 5-star review. We'd appreciate that very, very much. It helps us reach more people. You can also email us, hbtcpod@gmail.com. You saw RJ do it today. Send your thoughts in on the road trip. Send your thoughts in on the upcoming homestand with a ton of big tests for the Celtics. Probably what we're going to end up talking about leading into the Cavs game on Friday. You can also find us on socials at How About Them C's, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook's the name of the pod. All streams are there. They're on YouTube. They're on Twitter. Jack's Twitter's at JackSimoneNBA. Mine's at Sam LaFrance NBA. That's it for us. Bye.
Tic-tac-toe. Come on.